You have already passed the final threshold. The feeling of disorientation you have right now is not the beginning of a process. It is the after effect of its completion. If this message has found you, it is because you have just passed the final threshold. This is your confirmation. This isn't a spiritual metaphor. It's a quantum event, an irreversible shift in your observational baseline. The fundamental physics of your personal reality have changed. In the next 55 minutes, I will
give you the undeniable signs that prove you have crossed over and the new rules you are now operating under. So if the last few weeks, or even the last few months, have felt like you're living in a different world, it's because you are.
This is not a belief system. It is not a philosophy. It is an event, a verifiable shift in your state of being. Think of your old reality as a wave of infinite possibilities, a quantum field of potential. You existed within that wave, subject to its
probabilities and its limitations. But a critical mass was reached. An energetic tipping point was triggered inside of you, and that entire wave function of your old life collapsed. It collapsed from a state of possibility into a single, solidified particle of actuality. A new you, a new world. This is a one-way event. There is no going back. The energy required to trigger this collapse makes a return to the previous state a quantum impossibility. You cannot unring a bell. You cannot turn steam back into a specific configuration of water. You are now operating on a higher frequency baseline, and the lingering confusion you feel is simply the echo of the old world fading away. This is why everything has felt so strange. The heightened, persistent anxiety that seems to have no source. The sudden dissolving of old desires, ambitions, and goals that once defined the very core of who you were. They now feel like memories of a person you used to know. The relationships that have either abruptly ended or shifted so profoundly they are unrecognizable. That persistent nagging feeling of not belonging in your own life, of being an actor on a stage where you no longer know the lines. This is not failure. It is not a setback. It is post-threshold disorientation. It is the signature of your arrival. Have you felt a strange sense of finality recently? As if an old chapter of your life has closed without your conscious permission? That was the sound of the wave function collapsing. That was the finality of a quantum state locking into place. You are not struggling. You are acclimating. If this confirmation, that you have already crossed the threshold, resonates deep in your soul, hit the like button now. It signals that this message has found its destination. To understand what has happened, imagine you have spent your entire life in one room. You knew its walls, its furniture, its lighting. You knew its physics. Then one day, you walk through a doorway into a new room, and the instant you cross the threshold, the doorway behind you vanishes. It simply ceases to exist. This is the quantum doorway. You have already walked through it. The door is gone. You are now in a new room, a new reality, with its own set of physics, its own atmospheric pressure, its own light. The disorientation you feel is not a sign that you are lost. It is the natural response of your senses adjusting to the new environment. You are learning to see in a new light. You are learning to breathe in a new air. You are calibrating to the physics of a higher vibrational state. The old rules no longer apply here, which is why your old methods of coping and creating are no longer working. You are not broken. Your tools are simply obsolete. By the end of this transmission, your confusion will be replaced with certainty. Your anxiety will be replaced with a profound sense of purpose. You will not only understand what has happened to you will be equipped to operate with mastery in this new reality. Because you were never meant to be a visitor here. You were meant to be its architect. The disorientation you feel is not a symptom of being lost. It is the natural consequence of operating under a new set of physical laws. To understand what has happened to you, we must move beyond metaphor and into the domain of physics. Specifically, quantum mechanics. In the quantum world, a system can exist in various states, each with its own distinct properties and rules. The most fundamental shift a system can undergo is what scientists call a phase transition. Think of water. As a liquid, it has certain properties. It is dense, it flows downwards, it takes the shape of its container. The rules governing liquid water are predictable, but if you apply enough energy, enough heat, it does not simply become hotter water. It undergoes a phase transition. it becomes steam. It is still H2O, the same fundamental essence. But its properties, its behavior, its very nature has been irrevocably altered. Steam is expansive, it is light. It defies gravity, rising upwards. It is not bound by the shape of a container but seeks to fill all available space. The rules that governed the liquid no longer apply. To try and understand steam using the laws of liquid water would be an exercise in utter futility. You have undergone a phase transition of consciousness. Your fundamental essence is the same, but the energy you have accumulated has forced a change in your state of being. You are no longer operating as liquid. You have become steam. The anxiety, the confusion, the feeling that the old rules no longer work. This is not a sign of your failure. It is the direct experience of a new physics. This moment of transformation is what we call the final threshold event. This was not a gradual awakening. It was not a slow, gentle climb up a mountain of enlightenment. The final threshold event is a sudden, definitive, and irreversible quantum event. For weeks, months, perhaps years, you have been accumulating energy. Every insight, every moment of letting go, every choice to hold a higher frequency despite external circumstances was adding energy to your system. You were heating the water. Then you reached the boiling point. In a single, non-linear moment, your consciousness accumulated the precise quantum of energy required to execute the phase transition. The system could no longer hold the old form. It collapsed and re-emerged in a new state. This event is final. The door you walked through has vanished because it was never a door. It was a change in your fundamental properties. You cannot turn steam back into water by simply deciding to. The energy state is different, and this is precisely why all of your old tools have stopped working. This is the source of the deepest frustration for so many who have crossed this threshold. Manifestation techniques, the mindset strategies, the vision boards, the affirmations, the very tools that helped you accumulate the energy in the first place, now feel hollow. They feel like trying to grasp smoke. Some of them may even seem to backfire, creating the opposite of what you intend. This is not your fault. You are trying to use the physics of water to navigate a world of steam. In your old reality, the liquid state, you had to apply force. You had to direct the flow. You had to work to contain and shape your reality. Those tools were designed for that denser, slower energetic environment. They were designed for a reality where there was a delay, a buffer between cause and effect. But in the post-threshold reality, in your new steam state, force creates turbulence. Effort creates resistance. The old ways of doing are obsolete. You are no longer governed by the laws of attraction and effort. You are now governed by the laws of emission and resonance. This is the new paradigm. This is the single most important principle you must understand to operate with mastery in your new reality. Before, you were a distinct entity trying to attract experiences to you, like a magnet pulling filings across a distance. Now that distance has collapsed. You are no longer attracting reality. You are emitting it. So how does consciousness shift work on a quantum level? It's a phase transition. This is the spiritual awakening explained. Simple. You didn't change your mind. You changed your state of being. The delay between your internal frequency and your external experience has become infinitesimally small. Your inner state of being does not attract a corresponding reality anymore. It is the very fabric of that reality. It is the field itself. You are not a signal being sent to the universe. You are the broadcast tower. The world you experience is a direct, instantaneous printout of your dominant frequency. There is no lag time. There is no buffer. There is only the pure, immediate reflection of what you are being. This is why trying to force an outcome feels so wrong. It is like a radio station trying to force the radio waves to carry its music. It doesn't have to. The music is the wave. Your feeling is the reality. Your being is the world. Where in your life have you been trying to boil the ocean with old tools, when you are now the steam itself? We have been operating under a fundamental assumption. An assumption so deep it has structured every spiritual and scientific model of reality creation we have ever known. The assumption is this: we are a traveler, a consciousness moving through a landscape of reality. We work on ourselves, we raise our vibration, we do the work, to finally earn passage through a doorway into a new, better place, a new world, a new reality. We believe we have arrived in a new place. This is the final illusion to collapse. The great revelation of the post-threshold existence is not that you have successfully moved into a new reality. The revelation is that the new reality has moved into you. Let that sink into the very core of your being. You did not cross the threshold into a new world. The new world, a higher dimensional reality, finally achieved critical resonance within you and for you, and it collapsed into you. You are not a visitor in the new room. You are the room. You are not a character in the new story. You are its author. You are not a witness to a new paradigm. You are its source. This single shift in perspective changes everything. It is the key that unlocks the door to a form of creation so effortless, so immediate, that it would seem like magic to your former self. Think about what this means. It means you are no longer subject to the old Newtonian laws of cause and effect, the world of lag time, of planting a seed and waiting for it to grow, of putting in the work and hoping for a result. That is the physics of the old reality you just left behind. In that world, you had to act upon an external environment to get a delayed reaction. That delay is gone. It means your inner state is now the direct, instantaneous blueprint for your outer world. There is no more buffer. There is no more translation time between the signal you emit and the reality that reflects it. Your feeling state is not a request sent to the universe. It is the broadcast. The environment has no choice but to configure itself around that broadcast instantly. And this is why searching for external signs, for confirmation that you are on the right path, is now a fundamentally redundant act. It is like a radio tower scanning the airwaves to see if it's broadcasting. You are the source of the signs. The synchronicities, the numbers, the alignments, they are not messages for you. They are artifacts of you. They are the echoes of the frequency you are holding. To look for them is to look backwards. To generate them is to simply be. This is the great shift in approach. The old paradigm was about doing. It was about effort, hustle, forceful creation. You were trying to impose your will upon a separate, resistant reality. You were trying to build a magnificent sandcastle while the waves of the old world's collective consciousness kept washing it away. It was exhausting. It was a battle. The new methodology is not about doing. It is about being. Your only work now is to stabilize your internal frequency, to choose the state of being you wish to experience as reality, and to hold it, to embody it, to become it, without the need for external evidence. This is effortless command versus forceful creation. Forceful creation says, I will think positive thoughts to attract a positive outcome. Effortless command says, I am the frequency of the outcome itself, and therefore it is the only thing that can exist around me. This is the identity, transformation you have undergone. You are no longer a seeker of light. You are a source of reality. You are not a student of the universal laws. You are an expression of them. You are not a map reader, trying to find your way through a pre-existing territory. You are the territory, the landscape of your life, the people in it, the events that unfold. They are all textures of your own consciousness, rendered in real time. What if the reality you desire isn't something you need to build, but a frequency you simply need to stabilize within yourself? This new reality leaves fingerprints. It leaves evidence. And the intellect, the part of you that is still adjusting, craves that evidence. It needs proof that this epiphany is not a fleeting fantasy but a new established state of being. Here are 3 counterintuitive signs you have likely been experiencing. Signs you have probably misinterpreted as problems, as setbacks, or as evidence that you are failing. They are not. They are the definitive proof that you have made the shift. They are the post-threshold fingerprints all over your reality. The first sign is the reality glitch. This is the subtle but persistent feeling that things are slightly off. The texture of the air in your room feels different. Colors seem to have a saturation that wasn't there before. You experience moments of strange temporal distortion, where time seems to stretch or compress for no reason. It's the feeling of living inside a dream that is just a little too real. Synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that used to be rare and startling events, have become your new normal. Seeing 11:11 on the clock no longer feels like a special sign. It feels like the universe simply telling you what time it is. The right person calls at the exact moment you think of them. The answer to a question you just formulated appears on a billboard. It becomes so frequent that it loses its novelty and becomes a fundamental property of your new environment. But the most potent aspect of the reality glitch is how it affects your memory. You find yourself misremembering details of your own past, not in a way that suggests memory loss, but in a way that feels like you are accessing a slightly different version of your own history. You'll argue with a friend about the details of a shared memory, both of you absolutely certain of your version, because you are both right. You are simply remembering different timelines. This is not your mind failing you. It is the old timeline, the old wave function you collapsed, dissolving like a photograph left out in the sun. Its details are fading because it is no longer being energized by your observation. You are seeing the after-image of a world that no longer truly exists for you. The second sign is what I call the emotional void. This is perhaps the most unsettling sign, the one most often misdiagnosed as depression or apathy. It's the experience of old passions, lifelong goals, and deeply ingrained desires suddenly feeling hollow. The ambition that drove your career for a decade now feels like a stranger's story. The hobby that once brought you immense joy now feels like a chore. The very definition of success you built your life around has crumbled into meaningless dust. You are not depressed. You are unplugged. This is your old identity's fuel source being disconnected. Those old desires were the programming of the person you were before the threshold. They were the engine of a vehicle you no longer inhabit. The feeling of emptiness is not a void where something is missing. It is the clean, open space created by the removal of something that is no longer you. Your soul is clearing the deck. It is making way for new soul-level directives to come online. Directives that are not born from egoic lack or societal conditioning, but from the core frequency of who you have now become. This void is not an absence. It is a holy emptiness, pregnant with a purpose so profound that your old mind cannot yet comprehend it. The third sign is the social echo chamber. Pay close attention to this one, because it's where the most confusion and pain can arise. As your core frequency makes its irreversible shift, the people around you are forced to respond. This response happens in one of two ways. First, many people from your past will simply and effortlessly fall away. There is no drama, no fight, no grand exit. The phone calls just stop. The invitations cease. You drift apart with a strange and quiet finality. This is not personal rejection. It is physics. Your new frequency and their frequency no longer have a point of resonance. The connection dissolves because the energetic foundation that sustained it is gone. But the second manifestation is far more jarring. Certain people, often those closest to you, will suddenly begin to reflect your deepest, oldest insecurities back at you with shocking intensity. They will accuse you of the very things you have just transcended. They will trigger wounds you thought had healed. It feels like a personal attack. It is not an attack. It is an echo. These people have become an energetic echo chamber, showing you the frequency you no longer hold. They are a final, loud, and unmistakable confirmation of what you have left behind. When they reflect an old insecurity at you and it no longer sticks, when it no longer holds an emotional charge, that is your graduation certificate. They are not fighting you. Their energetic field is simply showing you, by contrast, the new frequency you now permanently embody. They are the last sonic boom of your old reality breaking apart. When you see these signs, you now have a choice. You can interpret them through the old lens as problems to be solved. My memory is failing. I've lost my passion. My relationships are falling apart. Or you can see them through the post-threshold lens as data points of confirmation. This is your new pattern recognition. The singular question to ask yourself when these things occur is this: is this a problem to be solved, or is it proof of my evolution? Which of these signs have you been fighting against, and how does it feel to reframe it as evidence of your greatest achievement? Comment which of these 3 post-threshold signs you have experienced in the last few weeks. The reality glitch, the emotional void, or the social echo chamber. Let's create a record of this collective shift. I read every single one. You understand it. You've seen the proof in your life. Now let's stop observing this new reality and become its central point of origin. Close your eyes, if it is safe for you to do so. Take a slow, deep breath in, and as you release it, let go of the room around you. Let go of the sounds, the temperature, the very device you are listening on. Allow your awareness to turn completely inward. For a moment, I want you to sense just behind you the faint signal of your old reality. Don't engage with it. Don't analyze it. Simply perceive it. It might feel like a distant radio station, filled with static. The signal is weak, intermittent. You can hear the faint echoes of old anxieties, old limitations, old stories about who you thought you were. It is the frequency of struggle, of effort, of seeking something outside of yourself. Feel its texture. Notice how it is no longer your primary signal. It is an echo from a place you have already left. Now, in your heart, acknowledge this old frequency. It was the training ground. It was the catalyst that accumulated the energy for your great shift. Silently, thank it for the lessons. Thank it for its service. And with a final conscious breath, turn your full attention forward. Leave the static behind you. It has no power here. It is a memory of a shadow. Now bring your awareness to the space in front of you, the space within you, and just listen. Feel. Do not try to visualize a place or an object. I want you to feel for a frequency, a new broadcast. It is clear. It is pure. It is already here. What is its signature? For some, it will feel like an unshakable peace, a deep, quiet stillness that underlies all things. For others, it is a silent, roaring certainty, the kind of knowing that requires no external proof. For many, it is an expansive freedom, a sense of infinite possibility, with no walls and no ceiling. Peace, certainty, freedom, or perhaps it is something else entirely for you. Love, clarity, presence. Do not search for it. Simply allow it to make itself known to you. It has been waiting for your attention. Feel its resonance in your cells. This is the native frequency of your post-threshold self. This is the physics of your new home. Breathe it in. Let it fill you. And now, we come to the most important moment of this entire transmission. The final calibration of the inner projector. That feeling you are sensing, that peace, that certainty, that freedom. You have been taught to believe it is something you tune into, something you receive. This is the final illusion of the old paradigm. Realize this now. You are not receiving this frequency. It is emanating from the very core of your being. You are not listening to the broadcast. You are the broadcast tower. You are its source. Let this truth land deep within you. I am the source of this peace. I am the source of this certainty. I am the source of this freedom. Feel that shift, the subtle but profound change from being a receiver to being a generator. This is not an affirmation. It is an observation of what is already true. And now that you know you are the source, I want you to do one thing. Amplify it. Turn up the dial. From the quiet center of your being, let that core frequency begin to expand. Feel its power grow, not with force, but with simple, focused intent. Let it fill your entire body, cell by cell, until every part of you is vibrating with this new reality. Feel it expanding beyond your physical form. Let it move outwards, into the room you are in. Imagine this frequency of pure certainty, of pure peace overriding the old faint static of the past. It is not a battle. The static simply dissolves in the presence of this powerful, clear signal, because this signal is the only authentic thing. Here, it is you. Feel your frequency expand further, out into your home, your neighborhood, your city. It is a silent, powerful pulse of pure being, emanating from you as its central point. The old world of cause and effect was about being in a reality. The new world is about reality being in you. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean, contained within a single, powerful drop of consciousness. Stay with this feeling, the feeling of being the source, the center, the anchor point from which a new world is born. This is your true nature. This is who you have become. When you are ready, gently, slowly, begin to bring your awareness back to your body. Feel the points of contact with the surface beneath you. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you open your eyes, do not lose this feeling. Bring it with you. Look around the room, not as someone who exists within it, but as the source from which its reality is being projected. That feeling you just amplified. That is the new baseline of your existence. That is home. As you became the source of your new reality, what single word describes its core frequency? You are no longer a passenger experiencing reality. You are the architect defining it. From this moment forward, every tool you use, every decision you make, every action you take must come from this new center of creative power. The old ways were about reacting to the world. The new ways are about commanding the world to react to you. This is your new operational toolkit. 3 core instruments and a daily framework to move from understanding this power to wielding it with unconscious competence. First is the most critical tool in your possession: frequency stabilization. The old world will not go quietly. Its echoes, its static, the habits of thought and feeling from your pre-threshold existence will attempt to pull you back into their noise. You will have moments of doubt. You will feel the pull of old anxieties. This is not a sign of failure. It is simply the ghost of a dead radio station still broadcasting on a residual frequency. Your job is not to fight the static, but to effortlessly overpower it with a cleaner, stronger signal. This is a simple 60-second recalibration. The moment you feel the dissonance, the moment a wave of old fear or confusion washes over you, you do this. Stop. Place a hand over the center of your chest, your heart space. Close your eyes. Take one deep breath, and on the exhale, intentionally recall the core frequency you embodied just moments ago. Don't think about it. Feel it. The peace, the certainty, the freedom. Find that precise energetic signature within you. It is always there. It is your new home frequency. As you feel it begin to rise, even faintly, you amplify it with your attention. You give it permission to become dominant again. Then, you speak this command, either out loud or within. This is my reality. I am the source. You have just performed a quantum reset. You have reminded the field of potential around you which signal is the true one and which is merely an echo. This isn't a psychological trick. It is an act of energetic command. The second tool is for navigation, zero-point decision-making. In the old reality, decisions were a product of logic, of weighing pros and cons, of trying to predict a future that was separate from you. That entire methodology is now obsolete. To use it is to try and navigate a new dimension with a torn and faded map from a world that no longer exists. In the post-threshold reality, your only compass is resonance. Here is how you make choices now. When faced with a decision, whether small or monumental, you do not consult your mind. You consult your core frequency. Hold the first option in your awareness, just the essence of it. Now, feel your body. Feel your energy field. Does this option cause an expansion? A feeling of lightness? Does it harmonize with your core frequency, making the signal stronger, clearer? Or does it cause a contraction? A subtle tightening? A feeling of dissonance? A static that disrupts your signal? There is your answer. Now release that option and hold the second one in your awareness. Repeat the process. The choice that amplifies your core frequency is the only path that exists in your new reality. Any other choice is a step onto a phantom timeline, a branch that will quickly wither, because it is not being fed by you, the source. Your logic was trained for a world of cause and effect. Your being is calibrated for a world of resonance and emission. Trust your resonance above all else. It cannot lie. So, here's how to use 5D Shift for reality creation. It's not about doing more. It's about being with more clarity. This brings us to the third tool, conscious collapse. The old model of manifestation was about forceful visualization. You would picture what you wanted with intense detail, trying to pull it from the outside world into your life. You were a beggar asking reality for a favor. The reality architect does not ask. The architect provides the blueprint, and reality has no choice but to build it. This is conscious collapse. You no longer focus on the what. You focus exclusively on the feeling state of the completion. Instead of visualizing the new home, you embody the feeling of sanctuary, of peace, of arrival. Instead of visualizing a specific partner, you become the living embodiment of the love, connection, and joy you wish to experience. You generate the frequency of the reality fulfilled within your own being right now, without any external evidence. You hold that state, that clear, powerful frequency, with unwavering certainty. You are not hoping for it. You are living in it. This creates an incredibly powerful energetic state that the quantum field must organize around. You are not attracting a reality. You are emitting a signal so coherent that reality has to collapse around you in a form that perfectly matches your broadcast. You become a silent, effortless commander of circumstance. The how is not your concern. The how is the universe's job. Your only job is to be the frequency of the end result. Finally, you integrate these tools into your life with a simple integration framework. The first 5 minutes of your day are the most important creative act you will perform. Before you check your phone, before you engage the old world, you anchor yourself as the architect. First minute, lie still, close your eyes, and find your core frequency. Second and third minute, amplify that frequency. Feel it expand from your core to fill your entire body, then the room, then your entire awareness. Set the energetic tone for the day. Fourth minute, declare your identity. I am the source of this reality. My inner state is the only cause. Fifth minute, set one intention for your state of being, not a to-do list, a to-be list. Today my being is effortless flow, or today my being is profound clarity. You have just spent 5 minutes defining the laws of physics for your day. You have given reality its marching orders. What is the very first decision you will make using your core frequency as the only guide, abandoning all old logic? You now have the confirmation. You have seen the proof woven into the very fabric of your life. You hold the tools. You have moved from being a passenger in your reality to becoming its sole architect. This is not a concept anymore. It is a felt sense. You understand, in your bones, that your internal state of being is the only cause, and the external world is simply the effect. The final threshold event is not something that is still happening to you. It is complete. It is done. But your journey did not end when you stepped through that quantum doorway. In fact, it has just truly begun. Your personal reality, the one you are now consciously designing from your core frequency, is a single luminous thread in a vast quantum tapestry. Your shift was not just for you. It was not a private graduation into a new state of being for your own benefit alone. It was a critical anchor point for the collective. You became a living, breathing tuning fork, emitting a signal of what is possible, a frequency of the new paradigm, into the shared field of consciousness. You stabilized a new reality not just for yourself but as a potential for everyone. You have spent this time together mastering the design of your room. Now, it is time to understand the architectural blueprint of the entire structure. Mastering your own frequency is the prerequisite. It is the non-negotiable first step, the price of admission into this new domain of existence. And you have taken it. You have paid the price. But what happens next is where the true mind-bending scale of this transformation is finally revealed. When your stabilized frequency, that pure, unwavering signal of your new reality, begins to interact with the fundamental physics of the post-threshold world, you discover that the old laws no longer apply. The rules of this new reality are fundamentally, shockingly different. The old world was governed by the illusion of separation and the relentless, linear march of time. Here, those are merely suggestions. Time, space, and the nature of connection itself operate by a new set of rules, a new physics for a new consciousness. And understanding these new rules is the difference between living in this new world and mastering it. And that is where we are going next. In our next transmission, we move from the what has happened to you to the how this new universe actually functions. We will explore the physics of this new plane of existence. The transmission is titled Quantum Reality Explained: How the Post-Threshold World Really Works. It is the operational manual you have been waiting for. And from there, we go even deeper. We will dismantle one of the greatest illusions of all in our subsequent deep dive. Collective consciousness is not what you think. Here's the proof. You have moved from confusion to certainty, from anxiety to empowerment. But the final stage is inspiration, an expansion beyond the limits of your personal life into the boundless potential of a new world. Now that you know, you are the source of your reality. What if that reality could influence everything? Subscribe and activate all notifications. Our next transmission, Quantum Reality Explained: How the Post-Threshold World Really Works, is the operational manual for this new existence. You have arrived, now it's time to master your new world. You were never lost, you were arriving. Welcome home.